Alright, before we start, could you turn to your neighbor on your left and right and say, it's good to see you here. Turn to your other neighbor and say, hey, today Father's Day, we got makan later. Don't sleep first. Nudge them a bit. Makan means we got dinner lah. I think today is Western and not Indian food. Okay? I think, right? Okay. Alright. So, okay. Let me just go to mine. Alright, so we'd like to appreciate all fathers in the house, all grandfathers in the house, all father figures in the house. And we know some fathers are not here to join us. And also remembering some of our late fathers as well. We want to appreciate every single father, okay? So if you're sitting next to a father, give them a pat on the back. It may not be your father, maybe future father, I don't know. Give them a pat on the back and say, well done, father. Nobody turn to Brother Jihoon behind. Say, well done, father. Yeah. Brother Harry, nobody tell Brother Harry, well done, father. Okay? Tell a father, well done. Alright? You've made it this far, so good job. So my son likes to go around and tell us all, good job, because that's what we do to him. When he puts on his shoe, we like, good job. We give like, good job. So whenever he sees us do something, like after Pastor Reuben comes out from the washroom, he'll go, good job. Yeah, so sometimes we need someone to tell us, good job. Because all that we hear in the house could be a little more nagging from the wife sometimes, or crying babies and things. We sometimes need a little person that goes around and say, good job. So please tell the father nearby you, good job. Okay, that's Nenet, how Nenet does, good job, right? He tells us everything, good job. We finish our dinner, good job. Wow, perfect, yeah, okay. So he tells us, good job. Okay, and just to know, of course, because it's Father's Day, we're going to talk about fathers, right? I mean, for those who are father, those who know father, those, of course, we all have fathers as well. You probably relate to this. So we know that God has set the standards high in the Bible, all right? As a father, you're called to be the priest in the family. You're called to be the head who leads the family. Not just provide financially, but provide security, provide spiritual guidance. You're called a very high calling. But we also know it's not just God's standards, but your wife's standards as a father also very high. Okay, that's supposed to be a joke. Okay, you know God's standards high as a father, but your wife's standards of a father is even higher. Don't do this, don't do that. The baby's sleeping, the baby not. Reuben don't know lah, huh? Okay. So really telling all the fathers, good job. Because of course, living in God's expectations is hard. Living with your wife's expectations is harder, right? And being a father is not an easy task. I mean, I'm a mom. I find it hard itself. So I can only imagine being a father. Yeah. Okay. So on behalf of all wives, we like to apologize for sometimes setting expectations a bit too high. Why McDonald's again? Why? You know, something like that lah, huh? Okay. So don't have to live by the wife's expectations, live by God's expectations. Then you win liao, okay? The Singapore slang lah, huh? Right? Okay. So, yes, I am wife of Reuben and daughter of Pastor E.T., but I'm a perfect person who is also learning the ways and also grasping the ways and different things. So I just like share a bit of a little bit about us as a family, because some of you joined us within the past 1 year or 2 years and may not know us for the longest of time. So I grew up, of course, as a family of 3. My younger brother, my older brothers. My older brother is John, somewhere around. And that's my dad and my mom. And my dad used to work in Singapore. Before coming full-time, he used to work in Singapore. I'd be like, wow. Okay, but last time, the exchange rate is only 2.1. But last time also I studied there, I will always go and eat. I did my tertiary education, uni. I will always go and eat the vegetarian store because you can only get $1 plate of vegetarian food with 3 vegetarian dishes. Tastes quite nice lah, cause don't taste like, it's not bad, okay? Like curry rice, and put for $1 like last time, okay? 10 years ago lah, huh? So we were like, wow, very great. Oh, dad works in Singapore, oh great. But all the dads who work in Singapore, can I have a wave of hand? I know my dad-in-law works in Singapore. Some who used to travel every day. I can only imagine, because after that I started traveling every day and try working. It's like, wow, it's tough. Okay? And we know dad loves different ways. Remember my dad coming back, this appreciation, short one for my dad. He used to come back with the bus 70 or something, the ticket. Wow, 3 of us, fight, the train ticket. Now I see a train ticket, I don't want, I'm very scared already. Yeah, so train tickets there, growing up, we're like, wow, that's amazing. We want to fight, get the things, and we don't, as children, we don't see how much time and effort the dad puts in going to work, although boss goes, or long journey, the things that our Father do for us. But I'm here to say that God knows, and very likely your wife knows, and your children that are grown up like me, we know and we appreciate all of you, Dad, for the things you've done. Whether anybody said thank you or nobody said thank you yet, but we want to thank you so much. Okay? So that is a bit of my dad. Also, I remember growing up and he would purposely go and eat McDonald's every other day to go and get a Hello Kitty set, something. I don't know who of you are around my age and you know that last time McDonald's, they sell the Hello Kitty and you must eat 2 meals before you can buy the set or some Winnie the Pooh or something like that. And that's our dad, okay? He will go and eat that. So actually, I think that's a good thing because he can eat McDonald's, right? To buy us the thing, right? Alright, so for all that, good job. That's about my dad. And of course, with Reuben, I've been there and I think it's not easy being a dad because everything the wife cannot do, the husband has to do, the dad has to do. And we have 2 children now, so we have Nathaniel and Nicholas. And for the first month after I gave birth to Nathaniel, our firstborn, it went off in a blur because I didn't take care of my firstborn. I was so tired, we didn't know what to expect. They say read book, but nothing is like the book, okay? Pastor Reuben was the one that need night shift for more than 1 month because I totally forgot how, I didn't. I was just up pumping, everything was just in a blur and just like crying. It was a beautiful experience. Okay, then I remember again, so I got my second-born and for the first time, I had to take care of my own son for 1 month, the first month, and I was like, I didn't have that experience with Nathaniel because Reuben settled the whole night shift. He was the one who had to wake up and do everything. I slept through and everything. But I actually had to take care of my second-born for the first time. I was like, oh my goodness, this is hard. So turn to your dad that's sitting nearby you and say, well done, Dad. You'll never turn, huh? Okay. Alright, so for dads, we know you have a high calling upon you and we thank you because you are the priest, you are the leader of the family, and we want to assure you that as wives, as children, we submit to your authority. And for all those who have teenagers, we will pray for you. See some laughing, huh? The one never laugh means they don't have teenagers yet. So yeah, okay. So alright, so in the Bible, going back to the Bible, in the Bible we do know that the Bible has so many fathers to choose from. And of course, I'm not going to share about the whole entire Bible because that's a lot. But we know in the Bible we have Noah. One of the very first few fathers that was an example is Noah. And we say, Noah talk about being a father, but Noah was a man who, because he obeyed God when God told him to build an ark, although there's no rain, because he obeyed God, he built that ark. He didn't just save the earth, but he saved his family as well. So because of Noah's obedience, he saved the family. Okay, so that's one example. And the next, many examples, but some is Abraham. We know Abraham, Father Abraham and many sons, right? But before that, a bit of, for some may not know, or you probably know the story as well, Abraham and the wife Sarah were longing for a child, just one child, and longing. And they waited and waited. I mean, they did their own way, different things, and they got their son Isaac. And then after that, God told Abraham, sacrifice your one son that you waited so long. Bring him up the mountain and offer him as a sacrifice to me. And Abraham was willing. He went all the way up, was about to kill the son. And then over there, if you know the story, God said, stop. And then God provided a ram to sacrifice. But because of Abraham's obedience, he was already willing to sacrifice his son. He not only became a father to one son, but he became a father to many nations. So it's obedience again. So there's Noah, there's Abraham, and of course, another father that we all know, we always see more, hear more of him during Christmas time is Joseph. Okay? And Joseph was a father, technically in our layman's term, like it was not his child. Because he was engaged to Mary. Okay, we're talking about Joseph and Mary. Yeah. And then if in now time, you're probably like, now if there's any random other person, you'll be like, they'll think twice and say, oh yeah, they want to know my child, how people say all this. Somehow we Asian society, right? What will people say, something like that. But Joseph listened to God. He listened to what the angel said. He believed what the angel said and he believed what God had in store. And because of his obedience, he took Mary. God married out. And because of his obedience, he didn't just have a child that was not his, but he had a child who became king that saved all of humanity later. And that was Jesus, right? So these are all the amazing fathers and the standards of the fathers in the Bible that God gave us as examples. But of course, those are just different people. They are different people. And we want to just see the best example of a father would no other be than the perfect father, which is the Father God. All right? So that's God our Father. Okay, everybody says the Father. Okay, and this is referring to God. All right? So today's passage, that's my introduction. So today's passage we'll be reading first before we get to go a little deeper. It will be from Luke 15. Okay? So Luke 15, and this passage that we'll read is probably from verse 11 to 31. And a bit of background before we read it together is this is the parable of the lost son. And if you grow up reading, go Sunday school or read like children's book and things like that, children's, kids, Christian books, it'll be called the prodigal son. So it's the parable of the prodigal son. So this is a story. It didn't really happen, but it was a story that Jesus told to back then was the sinners as well as the tax collectors. Okay? And he was telling a story so that people can relate. That's how Jesus used to tell stories and how to get I like to say propaganda, but it's not propaganda. How to get his teachings out, all right? So Jesus used to tell parables or stories. Layman's term is stories, all right? So the parable of the lost son, okay? So in this sitting when Jesus was probably sitting down, maybe he was standing like this, no aircon, no anything, and everybody was just gathered around. They were, not saying like tax collectors, and then there was sinners, and then there was any point in ceremony, you all okay? Okay, and then there were Pharisees over here as well. Okay, the Pharisees also listening, and Jesus was probably here talking, no microphone, sweat, dust flying everywhere, things like that. They're talking, okay, they're all listening to Jesus. All the Pharisees probably listening to Jesus to like try to see where he says something wrong, but the people that are actually listening and receiving were the Bible called them sinners, but I would just say the general congregation or the people who were just listening to Jesus. All right, and the parable of the lost son would be the third parable or the third story that Jesus told. The first story, I'm just trying to compress it all very fast, but the first story was the story of the lost sheep. So Jesus is saying there's 100 sheep, but one got missing. So Jesus left the 99 and went to find that one sheep and came back. So 100 came and get one. Second parable was about the lost coin. So it's 10 coins, one coin was missing. The lady left, the lady managed to find the one coin back and she rejoiced. Okay, and then we'll come to the third parable, which is more of one-to-one. All right, and we're going to read, now we'll turn to, if you have your electronic Bibles, you can turn to that, or if not, just fix your eyes on the screen. Okay, so from Luke 15, verse 11, Jesus continued. So this is his third story already, okay? So third story, Jesus continued. There was a man who had 2 sons. Everybody say 2 sons. Nathaniel and Nicholas. No, I'm just kidding. No, not that. But this is in the Bible, okay? The younger one said to his father, "Father, give me my share of the estate." Okay? So the father divided his property between them. Verse 13, not long after that, the younger son got together all he had and set off for a distant country and there squandered his wealth in wild living. Okay, verse 14, after he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country and he began to be in need because he spent everything already. Verse 15, so he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country who sent him to the fields to feed pigs. Okay, and back then, I believe it was a Jew family, and to feed pigs would be like, a Jew cannot go near pigs and all, but he was desperate. You could see how desperate he was to go and be the person that feed pigs. So if you read the context, this guy was from probably a Jewish family, not supposed to be close to pigs, but he was so desperate he had to go, because he's got all the money already, go back and feed pigs, okay? So verse 16, he longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. Verse 17, when he came to his senses, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. Verse 18, I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So he got up and went to his father. So he was going back, walking maybe a few km away. I don't know how far he was. But when the father saw him, okay, he was still a long way off. His father saw him and filled with compassion for him, he ran to his son, threw his arms around him and kissed him. The son said to his father, Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you, and I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Verse 22, but the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fatted calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. 24. For the son of mine that was dead is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. Okay, so that's the main part of the story. Not done yet, okay? So bear with me for a while. We'll read more. Verse 25. Meanwhile, the oldest son who was in the field When he came near to his house, he heard music and dancing. Okay, so he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. The servants replied, "Your brother has come," he replied, "and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has come back safe and sound." The brother became angry and refused to go in. So the father went out and pleaded with him. Okay, and verse 29, but he answered his father, "Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you have never given me a young goat so that I can celebrate with my friends." Verse 30, but when this son of yours who had squandered your property with prostitutes come home, you killed the fattened calf for him. Verse 31, my son, the father said, you are always with me and everything I have is yours. Verse 32, but we had to celebrate and be glad because the brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. All right, sorry, that's a long story, a long parable, but most of you are familiar with this. Am I correct? Can you nod your head? Yes, right. Most of you have heard this parable and probably know it inside out also, right? Okay, so don't worry, I won't take too long. Pastor Reuben actually told me to finish at 6:45. I won't take too long. Don't worry, I have only 2 questions. After we read the scripture, right? There are 2 questions based on this, and don't have to answer me. We could be either one, we could be none, we could be both. And that is for you. But my first question today would be, are you your younger son or are you the older brother? All right? Okay, and I'll share further what that means. Someone's going to give us money, you can go party somewhere. No, I don't mean that, all right? Okay, so my 2 questions here for us today would be, could I have Joshua on the piano? So we are going to end off, but I want to put a pebble in your shoe so you go back thinking about something, all right? So are you the younger son? Okay, and what I mean, God didn't give everything, did he not? Right? Okay, so younger son, remember he spent all that was given till he had nothing left. And sometimes for us, we don't think that we are like the younger son because we're like, hey, everything you do, I work, I clock my hours, okay, I work OT, all I have is mine. I work blood, sweat, tears, and that is mine. I built this family of mine by cooking very nice curry every day. It's mine. I put in my effort, it's mine. But many times as Christians, we fail to forget that everything we have first comes from God. Okay, and I'm not talking about wealth. In the Bible, in this parable, it talks about wealth. The son got inheritance. Wow, come out. KWSP, something, you know, not just money things and all, right? But we have to look at it as God gave us time, He gave us our health, He gave us our providence, He gave us our house we have in, He gave us everything, right? And then like in the parable, the young son, he took that and went off and spent it all. So my question to you is, sometimes God gave us everything, but we took off and we said, God, the time is mine. I work so hard, now is my free time. Don't ask me to come to cell group. Ouch. Or God, I already come to church on Saturdays already. I think enough. I just come once a month. I clock my hours then. Yeah, you know, and you say, God, this is my time. God, this is my thing. I draw the line here. And when we say something like that, we're actually a little more like the younger son, because like the younger son went off and party everything with the father's wealth. That is what we are doing, because all we have belongs to God. So when we do something and say, hey, God, I plan this, you don't interfere. I plan like this, you don't interfere. If you want me fall sick then, not now. Later, not now. You know? So sometimes, it may not be all of us, I'm not saying all, actually I'm saying myself also. I say, God, I already planned this. Let it be like this, can or not. But you know in the Bible it says man can plan his own things, but in the end, God's plans prevail, right? And so that is my question to us is, are we like the younger son? Okay, and yeah, are we spending the things that we have that God's already blessed us on things of God or selfish things? Yeah, I'm not saying you cannot enjoy things of life, but when there's a need and when there's things, know that everything we have, our time, our money, our everything belongs to God, right? So that's the first question, all right? And my second would be, are we like the older brother? Okay? The older brother stayed behind, faithful to the father. You could be someone serving in church. You could be someone serving in a ministry, faithfully going, faithfully coming every day, playing keyboard, playing this and that. You know, like faithfully being found in a community. But what happened with the older brother, that he was bitter because he said, hey, I never had a fattened calf. I was never celebrated. Nobody acknowledged me. I'm working so hard. And that could be some of us, maybe the teachers every day, Sunday school teacher, very hard to prepare stuff sometimes, So, nobody look at me, nobody appreciate me. That was the attitude of the older brother. The older brother was more like existing as a slave and master, because as a slave and master, whenever you do something right, the master rewards you. But if the older brother had a relationship or knew the father's heart, the older brother could have just said, hey father, I wanted a goat. Can you make one for me? Oh, no problem, I make goat curry for you now. So that was the older brother's attitude. He was bitter. He didn't know that he could tap upon what the father already had. And sometimes many of us are like that. We serve, and we're so empty. It's like, hey, why this person just come to church suddenly can come on the worship team one left? Why this? God, I serve you, this, then you make me fall sick. Why? That is the attitude of the older brother. He had bitterness, he had anger. And I'm saying this not pointing fingers at anyone. I can say I have a little bit of both at times. Because when anything happens to me, I'm like, oh God, you see, my husband is a pastor. First of all, that is my husband's business with God, nothing about my business, right? But this, God is unfair. But that is human nature. We like to shift blame because at least not a nurse, we feel a bit better. But I'm here to share with you, brothers and sisters and aunties and uncles and tatas and amachis, that sometimes we are like the older brother or the younger brother because we all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And the perfect thing is that we are sinners no matter what we do. Because it is by grace that we are saved. And there's nothing we can do that makes us perfect. And that is beautiful because the main point of this is because we have a perfect Father. Everybody says, the Father. Say, the Father. Okay, so many times we are sometimes more inclined to the younger brother, sometimes more inclined to the older brother, or maybe we are just fine on that season. Okay, and that's okay. But it doesn't matter where we are found. It could be we are bitter towards something, or we could be squandering away our time in other things, being busy, gaming, something like that, But it doesn't matter because we have a Father. And the beautiful about this thing, I'm actually finishing soon, is that the father, when he saw the younger son, he had two different reactions, right? He saw the younger son, he ran to the son. And in the Bible, it says it's beautiful because if you look at scripture, it says, draw near to me and I will draw near to you. And in this parable, the illustration given was the son was already coming home. And what did the father do? Because the son was already drawing near, the father drew near to him as well. Draw. Yeah. Okay, and that's all of us. If we see that sometimes we may not be spending something wisely, or if you've been like the younger son, God is waiting and God is calling for us to come back. Just one step of faith and God will meet you there. God will meet you here. And of course, some of us, maybe we say, no, we're not a younger son, we come here, we go there, we're fine. But some may hold a bit of grudge or a bit of bitterness towards something that might happen in my life. Oh, I fell sick and God, I serve you this, how can this happen? But God is saying, don't just stand outside like the older brother while the celebration's happening inside, celebrating the redemption and the younger brother coming home. Don't stand outside and be isolated and be alone. Come and join. Don't be found in your area of bitterness. Come and join in the fellowship. That was older brother. I feel like, God, how can this happen and things like that. But God is sending an invitation. He didn't just left them. Never mind lah. Give it 5 minutes, he will cool off and come back. No, God is not like that. God went out of the house. The illustration shown was that the father went out of the house and talked to the older brother, inviting him back. And in this both situations, you can see the father is not staying put. The father is there, drawing us near and bringing us in. And this is our invitation to, I know it's Father's Day and all, but for all of us, we are all sons and daughters of God. And God is there. He's waiting for us to draw near to Him as well. And I don't know what situation you might be in, what might be happening in the house and things like that. Everything might be perfectly fine until, then you call Pastor, this one happening. So I don't know which situation you might be in, but know that God is the perfect Father and you don't have to have it all. You don't have to have a perfect husband. You don't have to have a perfect wife. You don't have to have a perfect family, because just by following a perfect God, He will make things right in His time. And God is the Father up there who is drawing near to us as we draw near to Him. So can we rise to our feet as I invite the worship?